The confetti was still on the floor, pink scraps scattered across the hardwood like the remnants of something that should have been beautiful. Someone had started to sweep them into a pile, then given up. The broom leaned against the wall. I stood in the empty living room, one hand on my stomach. The guests were gone. The decorations still hung in place like abandoned set pieces. Everything was exactly as I'd arranged it, except for the balloon. Burst. Destroyed before its moment ever came. I could still hear that sharp, violent pop. I could still see the confusion on people's faces, the awkward silence that followed. And I could still see my sister, frozen for 1 second, eyes wide, mouth open, before the tears came, before she made herself the victim. I pressed my palm against my stomach, feeling the curve that had taken years to appear. Years of needles and appointments, negative tests, whispered maybes I barely let myself believe. This pregnancy wasn't just a baby. It was proof that my body could do something right, that after all the waiting and aching, something had finally gone the way it was supposed to. And she took it from me. Not with violence, not with cruelty anyone else could see. She took it with a smile, an offer to help, and one perfectly timed accident. I bent down slowly and picked up a piece of confetti, tiny, pink, glittering. Something cold settled in my chest, not rage, not grief, but something quieter, something patient, because I knew the truth. And one day, so would everyone else. My sister's name is Claire. Growing up, that name always sounded softer than mine, lighter, easier to say with affection. Claire was 3 years younger, and from the moment she was born, she occupied a space in our family I never could. She laughed easily, charmed relatives at gatherings, and never seemed to try very hard to be loved. She had our mother's eyes and our father's quick wit, and she knew exactly how to use both. I was the older sister, the responsible one. I got good grades, followed rules, and never caused trouble. I was expected to succeed quietly, without needing praise. Claire was celebrated for everything. I was expected to simply be. When she made honor roll, there was a dinner. When I made honor roll, there was a nod and a casual, "That's nice, sweetheart." When she got into college, our parents threw a party. When I got into a better one with a scholarship, they said they were proud and moved on. It wasn't that they didn't love me. Loving me was just never loud. I learned early not to compete. Claire had a gift for becoming the center of attention without seeming like she was trying, and I had a gift for fading into the background, even when I didn't want to. So I stopped expecting applause. I worked hard, built a quiet, stable life, married a man who loved me steadily, and started trying for a family. That's when everything fell apart. 3 years. 3 years of trying to get pregnant. 3 years of tests, calendars, appointments, and desperate hope that slowly stopped feeling like love and started feeling like labor. 3 years of watching my body fail me, month after month. I didn't tell my family how hard it was. I smiled through holidays, laughed off questions, and deflected when Claire asked if we were trying yet. I didn't want their pity. I didn't want their advice. I didn't want to be the sister who couldn't do the one thing women's bodies were supposed to do naturally. But Claire knew. She always knew when something was wrong with me. She had a way of watching, of noticing the things I didn't say. One night after a family dinner, she cornered me in the kitchen. "You're trying, aren't you?" she asked, quietly, her voice soft with concern. I stared at her, my hands wet from washing dishes. "I can tell," she continued. "You've been different, distant. Are you okay?" Something in me cracked. "We've been trying for 3 years." Her face shifted. Sympathy, pity, and something else I couldn't name. "Oh, honey," she said, reaching for my hand. "That must be so hard." I pulled away and told her I was fine. But I wasn't. And she knew it. 6 months later, I got pregnant. It happened on a random Tuesday. No fanfare, no warning, just a positive test I stared at for 10 full minutes, my hands shaking, afraid to believe it was real. I told my husband first. He cried. We held each other in the kitchen and didn't say anything for a long time. Then I told my family. And that's when I saw it again. That look on Claire's face. Sympathy, excitement, and something else hiding underneath. The announcement itself was simple. Dinner with my parents and Claire. I baked a cake with "Baby Harris coming soon," written in blue icing, gender neutral. My husband held my hand as I brought it out. My mother gasped and cried. My father hugged me. My husband beamed. And Claire smiled. Too much. Her teeth showed too clearly. Her eyes were too wide, like someone had told her to look happy and she was performing it. "Oh my God, this is amazing! I'm so happy for you." She hugged me. Her arms felt stiff. "You're going to be such a good mom," she whispered. "6 months later, I got pregnant. It happened on a random Tuesday. No fanfare, no warning, just a positive test I stared at for 10 full minutes, my hands shaking, afraid to believe it was real. I told my husband first. He cried. We held each other in the kitchen and didn't say anything for a long time. Then I told my family. And that's when I saw it again. That look on Claire's face. Sympathy, excitement, and something else hiding underneath. The announcement itself was simple. Dinner with my parents and Claire. I baked a cake with "Baby Harris coming soon," written in blue icing, gender neutral. My husband held my hand as I brought it out. My mother gasped and cried. My father hugged me. My husband beamed. And Claire smiled. Too much. Her teeth showed too clearly. Her eyes were too wide, like someone had told her to look happy and she was performing it. "Oh my God," she said brightly. "This is amazing. I'm so happy for you." She hugged me. Her arms felt stiff. "You're gonna be such a good mom," she whispered. I felt nothing. In the weeks that followed, Claire inserted herself into everything. She texted me daily, sent pregnancy articles, asked about nausea, cravings, doctor appointments. She offered to help decorate the nursery, to throw a shower, to come with me to appointments if my husband couldn't. At first, I thought she was being supportive, but something felt off. The way she asked questions felt invasive, like she was collecting information instead of offering comfort, studying me, measuring something I couldn't see. And she always found a way to compare herself to me. "I don't even know if I want kids," she said one afternoon at a cafe, stirring her coffee slowly. "I mean, I love the idea, but it's such a commitment. The body changes, the responsibility. I don't think I could handle it." I nodded, sipping my decaf. "You're so brave for doing this," she added. "I really admire you. I don't think I'd survive what you've been through." It sounded like a compliment, but it felt like judgment. When I reached the halfway point of my pregnancy, my husband suggested a gender reveal party. At first, I hesitated. It felt showy, not like me. But after years of disappointment, I wanted to celebrate. I wanted one moment where my pregnancy wasn't quiet or fragile. I wanted joy, publicly. So I said yes, and Claire immediately offered to help. "Let me handle the balloon," Claire said, her eyes lighting up. "I'll coordinate with the ultrasound tech, pick it up, keep it safe until the party. You have enough to worry about." I hesitated. "Are you sure?" I asked. "Of course," she said with a soft smile. "I want to do this for you. You've been through so much. Let me make this perfect." She sounded sincere, kind, convincing. So I said yes, and I handed her the most important part of the day. Looking back, I should have known better. I should have remembered the piano recital. I was 12, Claire was 9. We were both taking lessons, but I'd been playing longer. I had my first real recital coming up, months of practice behind me. I was nervous, but ready. The day of the recital, Claire was supposed to come watch. She didn't. An hour before we left, she said she felt sick, stomach pain, tears. She cried and said she didn't want to miss it, but she couldn't go. My mother stayed home with her. My father came to the recital, but he spent most of the evening checking his phone, texting my mother about Claire. I played well. I didn't make mistakes. But when it ended, there were no proud photos, no celebration, just my father saying, "You did great, honey. Let's get home and check on your sister." When we got home, Claire was fine. She was sitting on the couch, eating crackers, watching television. "Feeling better?" my father asked. "Yeah," she said with a small smile. "I think I was just nervous for you. I was so worried you'd mess up." She made it sound sweet, but I saw the look she gave me. Years later, my mother admitted she'd noticed something that night too. When she walked into the living room and saw Claire perfectly fine, she'd felt a flicker of doubt, but she told herself she was being unfair. Claire was just a child. Then there were the college letters. I got into Princeton, full scholarship. It was the proudest moment of my life. Claire got into a state school, a good one, but not Princeton. The day I told my parents, Claire disappeared to her room. When I went to check on her, I saw her at her desk, typing an email. She hadn't seen me yet. "Got some college news today. Claire Harris, Princeton, class of..." She stopped typing, deleted it, started over. Then she noticed me standing there. Her face went pale, then flushed red. She told me she was just practicing, just imagining, but we both knew what I'd seen. When I told my parents what happened, Claire cried. She said I'd misunderstood, that she was happy for me, that she felt like a failure and didn't know how to cope. My mother spent the evening comforting her. But later that night, my mother came into my room. "Did you really see her typing that?" she asked quietly. "Yes," I said. She sat on the edge of my bed for a long time. "I want to believe it was a misunderstanding," she said finally, "but part of me wonders." It was the first crack. Then there was my wedding. Claire was my maid of honor. She helped plan everything, offered opinions, showed enthusiasm, until the rehearsal dinner. When it was her turn to speak, she stood up, smiling, and talked about herself for 7 minutes, about being the younger sister, about feeling overlooked, about how being maid of honor made her feel seen. She mentioned me twice, both times to say how lucky I was. My mother's expression tightened during the speech. She pulled me aside afterward and said quietly, "That wasn't appropriate. I'm sorry." But life moved on, and once again I told myself I was imagining things. On the day of my wedding, Claire arrived on time. But she changed her hair. We'd agreed that everyone in the wedding party would wear simple, elegant updos, classic, timeless, something that would look cohesive in photos years later. When Claire arrived, her hair was down, long, flowing, freshly highlighted, professionally styled, more elaborate than mine. When I stared at her, she blinked innocently. "Oh no," she said, hand flying to her mouth. "I completely forgot. I had this appointment scheduled for weeks. Do you want me to try to put it up? It won't look as good though, and we're already running late." The photographer was waiting. The schedule was tight. "Just leave it," I said quietly. In every photo, Claire's hair stood out, long and perfect, while the rest of us looked plain. Before the ceremony, my mother pulled me aside. Her voice was tight with frustration. "I talked to her about it," she said. "She insists it was an accident, but I don't believe her." It was the first time my mother had said something like that out loud. After the wedding, though, nothing changed. Life moved on, and I convinced myself that maybe she'd been right to doubt herself. So when Claire offered to help with my gender reveal, I wanted to believe she'd changed. I wanted to believe my sister loved me. So I gave her the balloon. The party was supposed to start at 3. By 2:30, people were already arriving. My house filled with noise, laughter, conversation, the clinking of glasses. Friends, family, neighbors, people I hadn't seen in years. I moved slowly through the rooms, one hand resting on my belly, greeting everyone. I felt lighter than I had in months, hopeful, excited. Claire arrived early. She brought the balloon, large, black, opaque, filled with either pink or blue confetti. She placed it carefully in the corner, tied to a weight, away from the crowd. "I'll keep an eye on it," she said with a smile. "Don't worry." She hovered near it all afternoon, helping set up, chatting with guests, making sure everything looked perfect. My coworker Sarah set up her phone on a tripod near the balloon. "I'll record the whole thing," she said excitedly. "You'll want to remember this forever." At 3:15, we were still greeting people. Not everyone had arrived yet. We hadn't gathered everyone. We hadn't made a speech. We hadn't started the countdown. And then I heard it. The pop. Sharp. Loud. Final. I turned just in time to see the balloon deflate, torn and useless on the floor, pink confetti scattered across the hardwood, and Claire, standing beside it, her hand still raised. For 1 second, just one, she didn't move. Her eyes met mine. I saw it, that flicker of something cold, something satisfied. Then she gasped, stumbling backward, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh my God," she said loudly. "I barely touched it. I was just checking the string and—" Her voice was too loud, too rehearsed, like she wanted to make sure everyone heard her explanation. People stared, confused, unsure of how to react. Sarah looked down at her phone. Her expression changed. Then Claire started crying. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't mean to. I was just trying to help. I wanted everything to be perfect, and I ruined it." People rushed to her. My mother wrapped her in a hug. My father patted her shoulder. Others murmured reassurance. No one looked at me. The confetti lay on the floor, anticlimactic and sad. No countdown, no cheers, no celebration. Just silence. And my sister, crying. I stood in the center of the room, one hand on my belly, watching. No one asked if I was okay. They were all focused on Claire. My husband stepped closer. "Are you okay?" he whispered. I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. Eventually, someone tried to salvage the moment. "Well, it's a girl," a coworker said brightly, gesturing toward the confetti. A few people clapped half-heartedly. I forced a smile and said thank you, but the moment was gone. Claire walked toward me, her hands trembling. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to. I just got nervous." She reached for my hand. I pulled back. The room went quiet. My mother's expression shifted. "She said she's sorry," she said, her tone pointed. "I know," I replied. My voice was flat. Claire cried harder. "I ruined everything. I ruined her moment." "It was an accident," someone said. "Don't be so hard on yourself." But my mother was quiet now. She was watching Claire differently. And for the first time, I saw doubt settle on her face. The party ended early. People lingered for a while, eating cake and making awkward small talk, but the energy was gone. By 5 o'clock, everyone had left, except Claire. She stayed behind, helping clean up, apologizing every few minutes, her eyes red and swollen. "I'm so sorry," she repeated, sweeping confetti into a dustpan. "I keep replaying it in my head. I don't know how I—" "It's fine," I said. I didn't look at her. Sarah lingered near the door. "Can I talk to you for a second?" she asked quietly. Outside, she pulled out her phone. "The video was recording," she said carefully. "I saw what happened." She showed me the screen. Claire stood near the balloon, glanced around, checked to see who was watching. Then she reached out, deliberately, and pressed her hand against it. Hard. The balloon burst. For one full second before the tears came, her face was blank. Then the performance began. "That wasn't an accident," Sarah said softly. My heart was pounding as I stared at the screen. "Don't send this to me yet," I said quietly. Sarah frowned. "Why?" "Because if I have proof now, I'll confront her now," I said, "and she'll cry, apologize, and somehow make this about her again. Everyone will tell me to forgive her, to move on." I looked back at the house. I need to wait, for the right moment. Sarah nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll keep it, when you're ready." When I went back inside, Claire was still cleaning. My husband stood nearby, arms crossed, watching her. My mother stood in the kitchen doorway, watching too. "You should go," my husband said calmly to Claire. She tried to apologize again, but he repeated it, "You should go." Claire looked at me. I said nothing. She grabbed her purse and left. After the door closed, my mother turned to me. "Did Sarah show you the video?" she asked quietly. "Yes," I said. She nodded. "Smart. Don't let her spin this again." That was the moment I knew my mother was done believing Claire. The messages started the next day. "Accidents happen. She's devastated. You should reach out. Focus on the positive." Everyone was worried about Claire. No one asked how I felt. But my mother didn't text me, and she didn't text Claire either. I reread Claire's messages from before the party. She can't wait for everyone to see it. Not you, everyone. I thought about the timing. She'd burst the balloon before most guests arrived, before we'd gathered everyone, before the countdown, in chaos, when it could look accidental. If she'd waited until the reveal, it would have been obvious. But she hadn't waited. I saved the messages, the timeline, and I waited for the video. 3 weeks later, I had a baby shower. Claire wasn't invited. I didn't announce it. I didn't explain. I just didn't include her. My mother called. "I heard you're having a shower." "Yes," I said. "Claire isn't invited?" "No." There was a pause. "Good," my mother said quietly. "She doesn't deserve to be there." The shower was small and peaceful. Close friends, my husband's family, and my mother. No drama, no tears, no accidents. Claire sent me a long message later, accusing me of turning everyone against her. I didn't reply, but I saved it. A week later, I gave birth. A healthy baby girl, 7 pounds, 3 ounces, perfect. I didn't tell Claire right away. I told my parents, close friends, and posted a photo on social media, my daughter's tiny hand wrapped around my finger. Claire commented immediately, "Congratulations, she's beautiful. I'm so happy for you." I didn't respond. 2 days later, she showed up at the hospital, alone. She must have asked the nurses for my room number. She must have said she was expected. Her face lit up when she saw the baby. "Oh my God," she whispered. "She's perfect. Can I hold her?" "No," I said quietly. The room went silent. Her smile faltered. "What?" I said no. She started crying, said I was cruel, said she was family, said I was punishing her for a mistake. "You need to leave," I said calmly. My husband appeared in the doorway. "Get out." She left sobbing. The nurse apologized and asked if I wanted security if she returned. "Yes," I said. That evening, my mother called. She called me crying, she said. She said you wouldn't let her see the baby. I didn't. "Good," my mother said firmly. She had no right to show up uninvited. There was a pause. "I'm proud of you," she added, "for protecting yourself. And your daughter." I closed my eyes. "Thank you." "Do you have the video?" she asked. "Yes." "Are you ready to use it?" I looked down at my daughter, sleeping peacefully in my arms. "Not yet," I said. "Soon." I needed the right moment, one she couldn't cry her way out of. A month later, we had a family dinner. My parents, my husband, my daughter, my aunt, uncle, and cousins. Claire wasn't invited, but she showed up anyway. She stood in the doorway, hands shaking. "I know I wasn't invited," she said, "but I'm still family. I just want to meet my niece." My husband looked at me. "Let her in," I said. Claire sat at the table, confused. "I want to show everyone something," I said calmly. I took out my phone and pressed play. The video filled the room with silence. Claire standing near the balloon, looking around, pressing her hand into it. The burst. That blank second before the tears. "That's you," I said, "doing it on purpose." "No," she cried. "That's not what it looks like." "Yes, it is," my mother said coldly. My mother stood up. "The piano recital," she said. "You weren't sick." Claire froze. "The college emails," my mother continued. "You tried to announce her acceptance as your own." "I was just—" "The wedding," my mother said. "The hair, the speech, all of it." My aunt spoke softly. I remember thinking the timing of the balloon was strange. My cousin nodded. She hovered near it all afternoon. The pattern unfolded in the open. No shouting, no arguing. Claire stood, shaking. "You're all against me." "Leave," my mother said. Claire grabbed her purse and left. No one stopped her. After that night, Claire stopped coming around. She sent messages accusing me of turning the family against her. I didn't respond. My mother didn't answer her calls. At family gatherings, Claire's absence was noticeable, but no one asked about her. When she showed up once, months later, no one rushed to greet her. Conversations died when she approached. She wasn't being yelled at. She was being ignored. For someone like Claire, that was worse than confrontation. She left early. No one asked her to stay. My mother came over the next day. "She called me last night," she said quietly, crying, saying she doesn't understand why everyone is so cold. "What did you tell her?" I asked quietly. I told her the truth, that people finally see who she is. She looked at my daughter, sleeping in my arms. "She won't grow up thinking cruelty from family is normal," she said. "You're breaking the cycle." That was all I ever wanted, for someone to see. My daughter is 8 months old now. She laughs easily, sleeps well. She's healthy and loved. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the gender reveal, the confetti, the silence, the way everyone rushed to comfort Claire while I stood there, pregnant and alone. And I think about the moment I chose not to forgive her. Not because I'm cruel, but because some betrayals are deliberate. Claire took my moment, but I took something from her too. The comfort of being believed, the shelter of my silence. Now, the truth remains. Quiet, undeniable, mine.